stay in a rhythm going into Big Ten play. So I kind of like that it was more earlier because I wouldn't want the bye week to be later and then it may mess up the rhythm we had.
When the Buckeyes face Rutgers on Saturday, there will be a noticeable scarlet and gray influence on the Scarlet Knights sideline. Former OSU defensive co-coordinator Chris Ash brought several Ohio State staffers with him to New Jersey, including his offensive coordinator Drew Mehringer, who was a grad assistant at Ohio State from 2012 to 2013. His special teams coordinator Vince Okrich also spent time with the Bucks, as did strength coach Kenny Parker. So with so many on the Rutgers side knowing the Buckeyes, Ohio State will change some of their signals this weekend.
He's not going to let our base things try to happen, so he's going to throw in some new things we haven't seen. And so at the end of the day, we just got to be prepared for what he's going to throw at us, and then also to just make adjustments on the fly when it comes to game time.
Just making sure that just the things that could, especially defensively, with our defensive signals, and but offensively, we go so fast.
We don't run a lot of plays, so it's not overly complicated, but
pretty basic.
Yeah, really basic defense, basic signal calling, basic coaches. I guess you could say all that.
Well, it seems as if we may see that basic defense again on Saturday. It's time now to welcome in our 11 Warriors panel. Here's Bo Bishop.
All right, Marissa, yeah, great line there from Worley. Basic, we love that. We're going to have a lot of fun with that. By the way, get your basic T-shirts at 11warriors.com in the dry goods section. You'll love those. Our panel is here. Zach is here. Appreciate you, Zach. Segs is here. DJ is here as well. DJ, fine. Spent some time in the great state of Montana. I'm going to take care of him today. Welcome to the program, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, you didn't have a choice, did you?
No.
The czar made you come?
Yeah, my family will be free soon, hopefully.
All right. Hey, listen, guys. Zach, we go Oklahoma, and we look forward to this game for the entire offseason, and now we have the antithesis of that as we have Rutgers. It's at home, it's at noon, it's a kind of feel to it. As a player, how do you, and then you have a bye week in between, how do you go from the highs of Oklahoma, a night game, to now Rutgers at noon in the shoe?
I think the best thing is that Ohio State had a bye. If you were to go from that big game to start off Big Ten play with a game at Rutgers at noon, like you said, kind of a hard game getting up to or up for, it would be tough on the team. But with getting that bye week, Coach Meyer and the coaches are able to get in those guys' ear a little bit. They were able to grind last week and especially this week again. And like JT Barrett said, you've got 9 straight, possibly 10 straight Big Ten games. So I think they're going to be up, they're going to be ready for it, and the coaches are going to make sure of that.
Segs, if you think about where this team was at the beginning of the season, where it is now, undefeated, the number 2 choice to win the national championship now. They're going to have 9 straight games that they have to get up for 10, obviously in a row here they're going to come one after another. You get Rutgers first, but the most important thing is momentum. We've seen clunkers in games like this in the past. How do you make sure coming off the bye, coming off of the Oklahoma win, that the momentum is there for a game against Rutgers?
Well, that's kind of what JT was talking about yesterday, too. He just kind of said, I wish we didn't have it because we were playing well, and they were. They put up 45 points against a top 15 opponent on the road. So, from an offensive standpoint, I think it's just cleaning up those little issues they had and then, getting out and just being sharp with the ball, taking care of it and playing smooth. And a lot of that comes down on the quarterback like JT. But I think a lot of it is the fact that it's still a relatively young and inexperienced team. And this is like another thing. Okay, well, last week or 2 weeks ago it was first road game, and now it's first Big Ten game. So those guys will be excited, and there'll be something new that Urban Meyer would.
That's what we always have to do, right? When you see Rutgers on the schedule, you always say that, well, it's the first Big Ten game. It's the first Big Ten game in the shoe against Rutgers with a high noon kick. Like, you have to all these little things to it, DJ, to kind of get it up. It is a conference game. It's important, but it's important for Ohio State to look the part too, isn't it? Because the country's watching this team now, which is something that really wasn't happening for the first few games of the season when they were playing lackluster opponents. This is a chance for Ohio State to shine. They're going to get that noon kick. There'll be the game everybody's watching early. There's a chance to kind of send a message that this squad's for real.
Yeah, exactly. And now that they've established themselves as a national player, I mean, prior coming into this, maybe not a lot of people in Columbus thought, it was reasonable to assume there would be regression. But now they've come out, they've stomped a top 15, top 20 opponent on the road. They've established themselves as a national contender. So now, they're going to have to go improve it, and they're going to get they're Ohio State, so they always get everybody's best shot. But now, playoff implications are on the line, style points are on the line, everything like last year comes back into play.
Certainly does, Zach. And Chris Ash on the other side of things for Rutgers. this is a program that I've always had a big problem with it being in the Big Ten to begin with. It's just not a good fit. Never thought it was. Chris over there trying to make the best of that program. They're playing better defensively. You know, they gave Iowa a bit of a game, 14-7. Right. That one goes down after some real struggles against Washington earlier in the year. What can Ash take from his experience in Columbus and apply it to make this more competitive than maybe we think?
Well, I think the big thing for Rutgers is they have 5 or 6 coaches that have been at Ohio State, know what Coach Meyer and from an offense standpoint, what they like to run, what their go-to plays are, basically their bread and butter. And so it's going to be them trying to give different looks to Ohio State's offense, different looks to JT Barrett that they know have hurt them in the past, and they're going to give them that. You know, I'm sure Rutgers this week may be practicing different defenses that they've never really done in the past. You've seen Ohio State always have a hard time kind of facing the Bear defense, the odd defense. So I'm sure with Rutgers coming out on Saturday, they're going to show Ohio State a little bit of that, and just those different looks that they know Ohio State and Coach Meyer have had some issues with in the past.
Certainly some intimate knowledge there, DJ. And as I mentioned, they did a great job against Iowa last week. Rutgers did, playing defense. It was a 14-7 game. Chris Ash can coach the defense. We've seen that firsthand, and he certainly knows if there are weaknesses with the Ohio State offense, he would know them. To Zach's point, I'm guessing we're going to see a lot of different stuff this weekend out of his defense.
Yeah, I expect. Meyer has said that JT Barrett, there isn't a defense that he hasn't seen, but I do agree with Zach that I'm sure. You know, if you go back and you look at the Virginia Tech loss or whatever, they sprung the Bear defense on them, and everybody since then they've tried some variation of that. So will we see the Bear or something? I'm not sure, but we'll see. Definitely there will be some sort of wrinkle because they're not going to come out and attack them with the same defense that they play against every day in practice.
If by chance we have anybody in the audience who actually likes Rutgers football and you think that Urban will go easy on Chris Ash, Segs, I cannot imagine. He doesn't go easy on anybody.
No, the only thing I have to say about that is the Big Ten Championship game in 2014, Gary Anderson and him are good friends,
right.
And he dropped 59 on him to get Ohio State to the college football playoff. I mean, they were best friends, and like I was in the press conference when they hugged at the podium,
right.
And they were like acting like they were brothers, and then the next night he hangs 59 on him. So, you know, Chris
and would have hung 80 if he could have.
Right,
he would have
absolutely.
Right.
He just, you know, it's one of those things where now it's a conference season, and you have to win these games in order to, you know, win the division for one thing, and then get back to the Big Ten championship. So he's going to do whatever it takes.
And there's style points to it. There's momentum to it. As a player, though, Zach, you're aware that Wisconsin's in a couple of weeks. You guys look at the schedule. You know what's coming. But at the same time, you got these little speed bumps before that Wisconsin game. Will the coaches use, one game at a time? We know the coach speak, but will they use this as you want to build, right? You want to build to Wisconsin?
You definitely want to build. I mean, let's be honest. All the players are looking ahead to what's on the schedule. You always do. Right. You always know what's coming. You know, they may not be looking at Michigan State or Michigan, but they're for sure looking at, Nebraska. They're looking at that Wisconsin game. You're looking even at maybe at Penn State, even though Penn State didn't give the best look at Michigan this past week. But it's one of those things where a game like this, as a player, you want to come out and handle your business early. There's no better feeling coming out, putting 28, 35 on them in the first half, getting that good halftime lead, being able to go into halftime a little bit more relaxed. The last thing you want is to be looking ahead at some of these games, and next thing you know, you're going into halftime and it's a 14-7 game or a 14-10 game. That's the last thing you want to do. So you want to come out, you want to take care of business early, you want to get on the board and kind of let the dominoes fall as they lie as the game goes on.
Absolutely so. Rutgers is the site of the first ever college football game, and Jackie Aprile went there in The Sopranos. And that's about all the things that I have nice to say about Rutgers as a member of the Big Ten. Marissa, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Bo. Well, still to come, the ultimate show of respect for an all-time Buckeye great. But first, big news off the field as things are heating up on the recruiting front. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's Friday night.
Friday nights are for high school football. And no one else covers it better than Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. Join Neil Sika
We're gonna have some fun.
And Matt Finkes for the biggest moments.
He's still on his feet.
Top highlights.
Check out that hit.
And in-depth analysis from around Ohio. High School Blitz. Friday nights at 11 with preview shows on Wednesday. Only on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. Saturdays, after the big game, Time Warner Cable Sports Channel is Ohio's destination for all things college football. Join Les Levine and Anthony Lima as they break down all the day's action. Listen in live on Coach Urban Meyer's news conference and take your calls on the road ahead for the Scarlet and Gray. More sports and Les Levine postgame. Saturdays after the game on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel.
Sometimes Al doesn't know what to do with himself. That man needs a mission.
I'm going to Clark's to pick up our prescriptions.
They're here. Clark's delivered them this morning.
So I got nowhere to go.
Home delivery is free, fast, and convenient. Saves time and gas.
I kind of need to save time.
Do you really want to get out of the house?
Visit our newest pharmacy at Whippin' Far Hills.
She's smarter than she looks.
A lot happens in 11 months. Lives are changed, careers are born when you train to become a medical assistant at Dayton School of Medical Massage. For over 20 years, we've been training the new workforce in healthcare. And now, with our 11-month medical assistant program, you can be working in doctor's offices, hospitals, and clinics in less than a year. A fast track to a flexible and fulfilling medical career. Call today. Dayton School of Medical Massage, 937-294-6994.
This year, for the first time since the early 80s, the Big Ten will play 9 conference games. And while 8 schools started league play last week, the Buckeyes kick off conference play on Saturday. Now, we talked about how Ohio State spent the bye week working on fundamentals, self-scouting, and watching the rest of the league play. Saturday, they'll get back into action, and the players cannot wait.
Every game counts in football, but Big Ten season, you got to step it up a notch, I feel like, because now every win counts to moving forward to what we all want to achieve.
I like our team. I like the fact that I haven't seen a lot of them yet because we really gave them 3 good days off. I'm hoping we have a high-energy, up-tempo practice and guys ready to go to work.
Well, the biggest game of the weekend in the Big Ten Conference is clearly Michigan and Wisconsin. But big news has hit off the field this week on the recruiting scene. And for more on that, we send it over to Bo.
Yeah, I wish I could say this was shocking. It's not too shocking to me, and for many of you who follow the program, it's probably not either. Danny Clark, 3-star quarterback out of Akron, Hoban, decommits from Ohio State. He was the first member to commit to this class, to the 2017 class. He was offered a scholarship when he was 14 or 15 years old, guys, to bring the panel back in. I can't remember if it was before his freshman year at Massillon or not, but I remember saying on the radio at the time that it was a mistake because to offer a kid that's going to be a freshman starting quarterback at Massillon a scholarship comes with a lot of pressure, and pressure on him to perform, pressure on Ohio State to honor that, and so we get this, midway through his senior year decommitment. DJ, what's kind of your read on this situation? Is there any winners? And obviously the big loser's him.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no winners in this. What's surprising about it is when you listen to Meyer talk, he's always talking. He rails against early signing periods and how he wishes, they move recruiting back. So he talks about the changes even between the junior and the senior year, and there's no ACT scores or anything like that. So. It's kind of surprising in retrospect that he would even, consider offering him
I agree with you.
to do it. And I would imagine that this is probably going to be the last time that we ever see him offer at least an in-state product like that again.
It's hard to imagine, Eric, and to me, look, everybody involved is complicit, but to me, Ohio State, unfortunately, is most.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about before the show, the only time you ever offer a freshman is if the kid's name is LeBron James.
Right.
I mean, it's just the fact of the matter. And, you kind of feel for Danny a little bit because he was going to commit no matter what. I mean, he always wanted to go to Ohio State. That was his dream, and Ohio State was the one that pulled the trigger. So they are at fault here, and it's a tough situation for both sides. But I think that Danny has definitely made the right decision for his future, and Ohio State, it is what it is, and they're going to have to move on from it. I mean, they still have an unbelievable 2017 class. That's not an issue with the way the recruiting's gone for the Buckeyes in recent weeks and months and all that. So it is what it is, and they just got to move on from it.
Zach, you went through the process. I mean, you're going to go to Michigan, and then it all happens. You end up at Ohio State. The coaching change happens up there. As a kid going through a change like that, I mean, I feel sorry for him. What's your take on the situation?
I feel sorry for him, but it's his job to make everything right. You know, it was his choice to decommit from here and go to another school, and so you know, he's taking responsibility for that. If he wanted to, he could probably still come here. You know, but he wants to. See his other options. He wants to, you know, go to another school, obviously, and probably somewhere where there's earlier playing time. I know he's talked about wanting to play early.
Sure.
Since he's, you know, when he gets to college, and so I'm sure he's going to take himself to a situation where he's able to go in, be a signal caller as a young person in college and do his thing. So right now everything's on his shoulders. You know, it's his job to make Buckeye Nation and Ohio State coaches regret, you know, kind of pushing him away. And so that's the attitude he has to take.
Yeah, unfortunately, he has a tattoo of a block O on his arm, and that's something that doesn't come off very easily. I'm told those things are permanent. Marissa?
Yeah.
Bo, I think you're onto something. I don't think he's going to be able to remove that anytime soon. Well, still to come, we'll bring you what to watch for from our guys. But first, Earl is getting an honor unlike any other. Details on that when we return.
We are a team. We are the playmakers. We are the game changers. We are the victors. We are the underdogs. And that's why we are football. We are high school sports.
Tuesday nights, it's game time. Join Greg Miller, Steve Hellwagon, and Josh Harris as they break down the week's best in Ohio college football. Your teams, your schools.
Look at that acrobatic move.
What you live for lives here. Game Time Ohio, Tuesdays at 8, only on Time Warner Cable, Sports Channel.
Right now at Interstate Ford, save up to $3,000 plus get 0 for 60 on a new 2017 Fusion. Or save up to $3,500 and get 0 for 60 on a new 2017 Escape. Save a buck with Chuck at Interstate Ford, Miamisburg.
What's up with your car?
Pretty sure it's possessed and out of warranty.
I'm going to cost you a fortune at the dealership, Cheryl.
Well, at Midas, our experts will tell you what needs fixing now and what can wait. And they don't laugh at people.
I'm sorry, Cheryl. No, I'm not. I am not sorry at all.
Trust the Midas Touch for brakes, tires, oil, everything.
This month at Interstate Ford, get 0% for 72 months, plus up to $3,000 off when you buy a new 2016 Focus. Discover why Ford is America's best-selling brand, and save a buck with Chuck at Interstate Ford, Route 725, Miamisburg.
I love Coach Bruce. He's like a father to me, and there's bits and pieces, not bits, and there's a lot of things that he taught us. Myself, this program about, you know, right from wrong, no gray area, and do things the right way, and toughness, premium placed on education, all the things that I learned from him. So, yeah, it's great. I was very happy for him, and we had dinner the other night, and it's great for him.
I am thrilled for Coach Bruce. I worked on the coaches shows with Coach Bruce for a lot of years. His love for this institution is second to none. He still views himself as a coach or the coach at Ohio State. He carries it with him, that passion, on a weekly, daily basis, and I am thrilled that he's getting to dot the I. Zach, I want to ask you about this because I'm guessing he addressed a couple of your football teams when he was at Ohio State. When I speak to what the institution means to him, I'm guessing he articulated that to you.
He definitely did. He would talk to us before every Michigan game, and I know it was something that us as a team would get so excited because this guy would walk down in the front of the room and just fill it up, and just all the attention was on him, you know, and he would give the most inspirational speech. He would be yelling. He would be getting in guys' faces like he was coaching in the 1980s and 90s still, you know, and he's a great guy. He loves Ohio State, you know, and it's something where still to this day, like you said, he brings his passion to the football team, to the university, like he's still the guy.
You will hear him in the press box. Yeah. Eric, and I know you can speak to this, you're in the press box a lot. You will hear him slam his hand down when things don't go.
All the time. I think it was the Cincinnati game 2 years ago when they had Gunnar Kiel threw those couple long TD passes.
Yeah.
And one time Earl just yelled, "No!" or like, "Are you kidding me?" And like he was slamming and doing this whole thing and so animated. And that was my first real, okay, like this man still loves Ohio State like so much. So yeah, I think it is a really great honor, and he's definitely deserving.
Here's the list of the people who have been honored with dotting the I. And when you see these names on here, those are some who's who's, DJ, I would say.
For sure, for sure.
Not everybody in there doesn't have to wait for a table. I assure you that. Everybody in there is getting a table as soon as they want.
I didn't know James Buster Douglas.
The champ. Columbus native.
Knock out Mike Tyson.
That's right.
In this town.
That's right. Champ's a good man. So good for Earl. I'm so thrilled for him. I can't imagine what it means to him. And I will tell Earl Bruce stories when we go to break to these guys that will blow their mind. But between now and then, I want to show you the poster for this week that we have set up for Rutgers at 11warriors.com. And it is a good one. If you've spent any time in New Jersey, this one clearly will ring true for you. Well, just crush this one. Great stuff as always. You will see those every week at 11warriors.com. And of course, we debut them right here on the program every single week. Well, the table is set. What will we be watching for when the Scarlet Knights and Buckeyes hook up on Saturday? Find out next. This is the 11 Warriors Report on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. Stick around.
Can I have your attention, please? What you live for.
I love it. Love it.
Lives here.
That's what I'm talking about.
Time Warner Cable Sports Channel, the television home of high school sports.
3, 2, 1. Hey!
Thursday, live at 7. Springboro, Beaver Creek, only on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. What you live for lives here. Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. Thursday nights, it's an all-new Hooli at 5. Then, more sports and Les Levine is live at 6. And at 7, we're live with another big high school football game. It all starts Thursday at 5. Follow us on social media at TWC Sports OH. Across town and across the region, this is where fans belong. Time Warner Cable Sports Channel.
Hi, guys.
Got the birthday girl a drum set? Drum set? Oh, you guys must have Time Warner Cable. This is gonna be some party.
Yeah, their free home Wi-Fi lets us connect all the devices at the same time, and there's no data cap, so...
Kids must love that, huh?
Hey, there's the birthday girl. Let's get this party started.
Get more with Time Warner Cable Internet, like unlimited data and speeds up to 50 megs.
Uploading.
Honey, I'm going viral.
Call 1-844-435-8162. Get 15 megs for $39.99 a month. Call now.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Rutgers will kick off at noon on Saturday, even though it doesn't exactly have the classic Big Ten opener feel. But regardless, the Buckeyes are opening conference play here at home in the Horseshoe. Let's kick it back over to Bo and the guys with their what to watch for this weekend.
Yeah, I'd be more interested if Jackie Pruitt was somehow playing in the defensive backfield. But before we get to what we expect Saturday, here's what you can expect at 11warriors.com throughout the week. We'll have much more on the Danny Clark decommitment. There's a report out there that LSU will reach out to Urban Meyer. That phone call will not be returned for its vacant head coaching position. Some awesome film study. You got to check this out with Curtis Samuel, how he's flourishing in his new role. Former intern of mine, Jillian McVicker. Gosh, she's a great girl. Probably the toughest Buckeye alive. You want to read that. Plus, Zeke Elliott following up his big day, and a new t-shirt in the dry goods store, Basic Defense. You will want to check that out at 11warriors.com. All right, what to watch for, and we start with 44.
I'm looking for the defense. I talked about it earlier. Rutgers defense, Chris Ash, all those coaches that have been at Ohio State before. What can they throw at JT Barrett and the offensive line to kind of throw it off? You know, I mentioned the Bear defense, the odd defense, different blitzes that Ohio State has always had problems with. What can Chris Ash and that defense do to throw Ohio State's offense off?
Segs?
I'm going with Ohio State's wide receivers. I mean, Noah Brown had that huge night down in Norman with the 4 touchdown catches, but they still don't really have a number 2 guy on the outside. You know, Curtis Samuel, Dontre Wilson are catching the ball well, but they don't have that guy opposite of Noah yet. And with the injury to KJ Hill, that's another guy just hurting the depth. So that's what I'm kind of looking for.
DJ?
I'm going to be looking for how the offense executes against Rutgers with the early start, the homecoming crowd. They're one of the most penalized teams in the Big Ten, if not the country. And just how they execute, get those cleaned up. JT Barrett on the read options, he missed a couple last week where Weber could have had big runs. I'll be looking to see how they execute.
I made 2 Sopranos references. It occurred to me that you're all maybe too young. Have any of you even seen The Sopranos?
I've seen 1 episode. I saw the pilot.
You've never seen The Sopranos as a series?
No.
Have you seen The Sopranos?
Did Tony die at the end? Did he
You've
get
at
shot?
least, thank God, I had a good Montana kid, at least for a couple years. You guys got to see The Sopranos.
I know. Got to suck up.
Then all these Jackie Aprile jokes that go over. The Czar's seen The Sopranos, obviously. The Czar has. All right. As for what I'll be watching this week, look, to me, guys, it's Mike Weber. He's every week better and better and better. But I feel like we could have an explosion a little bit this week against Chris Ash and his Rutgers team. Mike Weber, to me, seems like he's knocking on the door of like a 180-yard, 2-touchdown game. It could happen this week. He'll be my pick to click, I think, a little bit. Look, this is a tough game. It's a noon start against an opponent that's not very attractive. The coolest thing that I think will happen, aside from Ohio State taking care of business, is Earl Bruce. Coach Bruce meant a ton to me when I was here in Columbus on a daily and weekly basis. I know he means a lot to the program. I worked with him on a lot of things. He is one of the. Anytime I see Coach Bruce, I get a smile on my face. I can't wait to see how he is. I'm sure he will be very emotional on Saturday. And if you want to know the one thing I'm watching for, it'll be how Earl Bruce handles dotting the I, because he knows the history. I mean, this is a guy who coached at Massillon. He coached at Ohio State, played for Woody Hayes. You think about that, and you think about the lineage going all the way back to Paul Brown Stadium in Massillon and all the way through, and a college football Hall of Famer as well, and one of the all-time diehard Buckeyes, bleeds scarlet and gray, is Earl Bruce. And Zach, I got to think, would be emotional as well, Zach Smith, obviously his grandson on the staff. So a very special moment for Earl Bruce. And to me, more than all the rest of it, that's what I'll be watching for. But I think Mike Weber's going to have a big game as well. But it's Rutgers week. That's the best we can do on it, Marissa. We did the best we could to make a big deal out of it.
Bo, we certainly have. And just a reminder, Saturday's kickoff is going to be at noon, and you can find the game on BTN. Well, thanks for joining us for this edition of the 11 Warriors Report here on Time Warner Cable Sports Channel. For Bo, Zach, Eric, and DJ, I'm Marissa. We'll see you next week.
It's Friday night.
Friday nights are for high school football.
The best we can do on it, Marissa. We did the best we could to make a big deal out of it.
Bo, we certainly have. And just a reminder, Saturday's kickoff is going to be